family that works for me that has a condo got a letter saying, we want to do seismic testing on your property. Well, it's a fraction of an acre. But those types of things are going to happen.
And I've just been told that we are going to stay on 1160 here. We have some folks that are really interested in our topic, so we invite those folks to stay with us.
I would just add about the infrastructure topic that Malcolm brought up. By some conservative reports, Pennsylvania needs an additional 10,000 miles of pipelines in order to facilitate transportation of the Marcellus shale gas being extracted. So although the leasing activity is slowing down and or halting due to the low price of gas, there is still an imperative need for pipelines. And in my practice, we are seeing clients being approached with pipeline right-of-way agreements, pieces of property that have no geological value as far as mineral extraction. They hold incredible value to the pipeline right-of-ways and the pipeline infrastructure that's being developed across the Commonwealth.
Okay, I think right now we're going to take some questions from the floor. I believe we have a roving microphone that we'll be using, because I see one on here. But when you have your question, if you would please introduce yourself, and you can direct your questions to any one of our panel members here this morning.
I'm Clyde Easendorfer. I live in White Township, and we got a problem with the gas company. My question is, if they overpaid me $44,000, okay, they billed this to me. I pay income tax on that, but I never see the money till they have reimbursed themselves. And we have no idea. We've been fighting with them. To me, a gas company is all dishonest, and that's wrong. I'd like to have a good answer.
So to clarify, you received a lease bonus payment, or is this $44,000 extra in royalty income? Okay, so you received an additional $44,000 that they're telling you you're not due. You've already paid income taxes on that $44,000, and now they want the money back.
They're keeping the money. They transfer everything to me in my name so they can take it back, okay? I pay income tax on that, but I never see the money. I don't. It's a rolling check, and they keep everything now till it's paid back, but I pay taxes on that.
What is the basis, sir, of why the gas companies, why they believe that the money was improperly paid?
They say their main meter went haywire, and they produced more gas than I got paid all more than what they received.
So they're contending that the meter was inaccurate and that they overpaid given the true volume of gas.
Yes. And then I asked them, what about the people's meters in towns and that? They said, that's not our problem. Naturally, if they're making money, why would it be?
Yeah, I don't think there's a quick answer that we could give you on this channel, but that is certainly a fact dispute between you and the gas company regarding the validity of their meter readings. If there are additional facts, I might be able to talk to you afterwards to perhaps steer you in the right direction, but I've never heard of a gas company overpaying a royalty and then contending it was a result of a poor meter reading.
Okay, can we take another question now from the audience? News Talk 1160 WCCS, our broadcast this morning from the Treddy Auditorium at the Cavalci Convention Complex is our PA Gas Expo. Good morning.
Good morning. My question is, years ago when the shallow wells were drilled, there was a lot of benefit to the landowners in home heating, use of commonly 200,000 to 300,000 cubic feet per year for home and farm use, for example. On the Marcellus drilling, is that a similar feature of the leases? And if so, what levels are common for home and farm use?
I'll go ahead and address that. A newer lease that is probably primarily intended for Marcellus production. Most I've seen do not include that provision for free gas. It's not a common piece of language in a lease. The reason is it's not as easy to get Marcellus gas into a house as it is some of these more historical Upper Devonian wells or shallow gas wells. There's a lot more pressure to the gas. I'm told, and this is not my area of expertise, but a landowner would need to reduce the pressure of that gas to get it into the house, which is an extra amount of money out of their own pocket. I have seen a piece of language. I've seen language in the lease that provides for payment in lieu of free gas, which is a route that the landowner can take in negotiating a lease.
Yeah, I would echo Wes's comments that typically in a Marcellus well, the gas is too high a pressure, and you're not going to receive free gas to a residential or commercial structure from a Marcellus well. But with respect to modern leases, just because you're signing a lease, and let me just back up. If you're signing a lease and it is only for Marcellus shale, then in that lease you should probably have a depth severance clause that is stating to the gas company that I am only leasing the Marcellus shale formation. I'm not leasing any of the shallow formations, nor any of the deeper formations that lie beneath Marcellus, such as the Utica. And if you have such language in your lease, then there's really no need for a free gas clause. If you are leasing everything to the gas company, and it's projected that it's probably only going to be a Marcellus well, you should still nonetheless insist on and include a free gas clause in that lease, because in the future, you may implore your gas developer to drill a shallow well, and you understand and recognize that you're not going to get free gas from the Marcellus formation, but in the future, you may want to have a shallow well on your property, and hence the typical free gas clause, which is usually between 200,000 and 300,000 MCF per year.
Next question. Our coverage on 1160 WCCS, the gas expo underway. And please let the listeners know who you are and what area do you live in.
Hi, John Benhart. I'm from Indiana. I think a lot of people in this area have received letters regarding the seismic testing. And it was asked before, but I guess maybe to be really concise. I mean, are there any potential downsides from signing that? Because it sounds like, from listening to you guys, it's sort of formality. Like they already really have the right to do that. I think a lot of people want to know. I know 10 people personally that have gotten these letters.
But I think that formality maybe isn't the right word. I think whenever Bob made that comment earlier, he was referring to a lease that's already in place may already allow a gas company to subcontract a seismic company to come onto the property and perform their operations for seismic testing. There's various forms of seismic testing. There's 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, and I believe there's 4-dimensional testing that you don't see as much. 2-dimensional testing is primarily done from township municipal roads. The thumper trucks, you've heard that phrase. Huge trucks that basically pound the ground and send a vibration through the shale formation that results in imagery that the gas company can use to see what the formation looks like. They're testing for faults in the shale formation. 3-dimensional testing is slightly more invasive for a surface owner, in that now a company is going to come onto the property, they're going to potentially drill 10-foot or so holes in the property every 100 feet or so, and set off a stick of dynamite, basically. Not what you're picturing from a Looney Tunes cartoon or anything like that, but a piece of dynamite that's going to send that vibration through the earth. It's a more specific test. So Bob was referring to indemnification. Protect yourself against anything that may occur on the property, against any damages that may occur on the property. If there are damages, make sure that operator is going to take care of the problem. Lost my train of thought.
Well, the big factor is going to be whether you have a lease in place, and is the seismic testing request made pursuant to that lease, or if the property is not leased, are they simply coming on your property and asking permission to conduct seismic testing because they're trying to create a broad map of a particular area. In either scenario, you should always ask for and request indemnification as part of the agreement, and also an access fee. When we negotiate seismic testing agreements, those are the two important clauses. The indemnification language, the fee that's going to be charged per acre to come on the property to conduct the testing, and then also some restrictions on when and where they can access your property to conduct the testing. If there's a lease in place, you have less leverage. If there's no lease in place, you have more leverage. And depending on the language in the lease, there may or may not be enough latitude to negotiate a more comprehensive seismic testing agreement.
And I think that one of the things that I've seen talking with landowners, surface owners that get these letters, is that they believe that they have no recourse, that it's going to happen anyway, regardless of what they do. And the important thing is you need to go get some kind of representation, legal representation, talk to somebody that does mineral management, that's involved in the process, because you do have some rights. And it's not a foregone conclusion that they're going to come in and do testing around you, even though you haven't had participation.
There's two different, that I know of. You may be in the southern part of Indiana County, southern part of the county where Gateway Technologies or Gateway Company is the name of the seismic company that's been permitted. That's a result of a joint venture between XTO and Chevron. Those companies are obviously interested in Indiana County if they're paying the money to have a seismic test done. Both have been active in this county for a long time via prior companies, CW Phillips, Phillips Exploration, and Atlas, now XTO and Chevron. And then you've got, and I'm not exactly sure the entire area, I haven't seen enough of these permits yet, but GX Technologies, I know, has issued a bunch of, or asked for a lot of permits near Rural Valley. So there's two companies now that have been paid to do seismic testing, which is obviously for a landowner good. There's a lot of interest in Indiana and surrounding areas. So overall, a positive.
I believe our panel will be sticking around if folks in the audience have a question. And we want to thank them this morning and remind our listeners on 1160 WCCS that our PA Gas Expo continues throughout the day here at the Kowalczyk Complex just outside of Indiana. So that will conclude our broadcast from our first panel discussion this morning here from the PA Gas Expo on Newstalk 1160 WCCS.